What's up, guys? This is Justin from the Board Game Losers, and I am here with a sweet unboxing for you. That's right, you can see here we have Ankh, Gods of Egypt. This is a new title from Streamlined Games. This is an Egyptian-themed area control game that the Kickstarters just started going out not too long ago. I just got mine in, and I'm super excited. I did do the all-in pledge, so in classic Simon faction, there are a couple of boxes to open with this. So we're going to start with the core box and then in no particular order continue through all the rest of this. I'm super excited about this. This is the first game I have that is Egyptian based. I don't really have anything else in my collection theme-wise that's like that. I've got some area control, but this is pretty cool. You get to take on the role of a god, one of the many gods in the Egyptian mythology, and take control of them and have your monuments and your sphinxes and all those sort of things on the map, and you're taking control of those, and you have followers and you have powers, all that cool stuff. And so that is what this game does. This is a game that I've been really looking forward to. You can see it is a 2 to 5 player game. So here's your different gods and their warriors and followers, or I guess they're warriors, and then you also have followers. And you're going to be positioning them on the board. You're going to have guardians that you can get that are going to be fighting for you. You have cards that you're going to be using to play to have powers and to make changes to different things, and all those things sort of put together are gonna work towards the ultimate goal of having the most followers and kind of taking out all the rest of the gods as I remember it. I've intentionally tried to not watch a lot of this stuff about this recently, just because I didn't want to watch other unboxings, and I wanted to try to remember it for myself and get that excitement. So hopefully that is a pretty good description. So again, this is the core box. We have this box, Pantheon, Pharaoh, Tomb of Wonders, the Guardian set, and Divine Offerings that we'll look at. Also, I did get the neoprene mat, which is stunning on the table. I have looked at that came earlier before everything else came, which was really not fair. But it is what it is. So anyway, you know what? That's enough of me talking. Let's get to the good stuff and see what's inside this box. Oh, yep. Alright, so of course we have our Simon stuff, content, probably a scenario. So there's two different things here, right? So there's the rule book. So this is obviously the rule book, and then there's the scenario book. And I want to say there's 10 scenarios for anywhere from 2 to 5 players. Tells you how to set up the board, special rules for setup, those sorts of things. And then there's a rule summary on the back, so that's cool. Let's see here. The rule book looks to be about 30 pages, but it is, wow, it's very image heavy, it looks like, which is good. So 30 pages is a lot, but it's probably a lot of extra stuff that, descriptions and things of that nature, so that's not too bad. Here's a ton of cardboard, which we will look at in a second. I'm just going to kindly set that over here to the side. And then, of course, the minis. Oh my gosh, this thing's heavy. And then, okay, well, let's look at this So here's card decks. You can see here's an example of the card decks. This is a specific deck for each of the gods. This is your guardians. So this is a cat mummy. Gives you some example cards for your battle steps and game turns. And then we have the player boards and the merge cards. Yeah, that's a mechanic in this game. So whenever you're playing, and if you're towards the end, and essentially if you're losing, I mean that's what it boils down to. If you're losing, then towards the end of the game, two people will merge. And there's a lot of controversy over that, right? So some people would say, if I'm playing Amon here and I'm in last place, the next person that's next to last place, I mean, a lot of people would say play better, right? But at the same time, it is kind of a way to help them have a chance. Now, I would be interested to see the number of times that tipped this and somebody that was in first place wasn't going to win because of that. But from what I hear, what I understand, doesn't happen very often. That whoever is winning is probably going to end up winning anyway. So there's a lot of controversy with this mechanic. But I haven't played it for myself, so I don't want to beat up on it too much before I actually play it myself. And also, I believe, open her up here. I believe that this Divine Offerings replaces these mats and the merge cards with better versions. It's kind of like a component upgrade kit, I think, but we'll just have to wait and see. So let's get this, let me get all these open and take a quick look at everything that's inside. Okay, so finally got all this stuff unshrinked. I will say this, and we'll look at all the cards in a second, but this card stock, it's okay. Well, this is a little bit thicker than the other. Like, this stuff is okay, but I mean, it's not gonna last. Or it's not. Let me rephrase it. It's not that it's not gonna last. It is going to be like, stuff's gonna be sliding all over this. And these are just little sideboards that sit by the main board. So, I mean, I'm not super impressed with that, just to be honest with you. Cardboard. So here's the cardboard. Now, there's only actually not that many tokens. There's only 2 things of tokens here. This is the main board, right? So there's not near as many tokens as you'd think. I will open this up. Maybe I will open this up. It's a 4-part board plus the sideboards. So the Nile there. Get a little idea. Of course, you got all the hexes where you put all your put all your folks and stuff. So it's okay. Not super impressed with it. Tokens, we've got, I guess, monuments and pyramids. We got our god tokens, all that sort of stuff. And then this is pretty much a couple of tiles, monuments, and then mostly followers on this sheet. So here's all the cards. So this set of cards, there is a set of 2, 3, 4, 6, 7 cards for each god. They're all identical. They do have their own backs, but these are all the same identical 7 cards, which are these 7 cards. Just flashing through. I know that the values on these can be used for combat, and then they all have a special ability that happens when you use them too. So that's what those are. But again, the quality, like, of the individual card, I mean, it's not the worst, I guess, but it is certainly not the best. I really hope that I'm right about that upgrade pack, because I would almost say, like, this stuff you could get away with, like these kinds of cards, but these player boards, we'll look at those next. I mean, you put tokens over here, but that stuff's going to slide all over the place. You have 1 for each god. So the base game comes with Amun, the Hidden, Anubis, the Embalmer, Ra, the Sun and the Light, Osiris, the God of the Dead, and Isis, Queen of the Throne. The backside is just some flavor text and a picture, which I will say I do appreciate that picture, that full picture. It is a little bit bigger than the other side, so if you go and you want to paint these, you have a great set of reference material for these. So that's these, and then these are the merge cards. So like I said, once you when 2 gods merge, there's a series of steps that happen, and for the remainder of the game, it kind of changes the way that those 2 players that merge together play. And these are kind of like reminder cards about powers and what options you have power wise on your turn, in addition to the regular actions, because you split actions with that merge mechanic. So you know, merge mechanic could be okay, I guess. I don't know. Alright, cool. Let's just move this to the side. Let's look at this, because this is really where a lot of the size of this box comes in. Okay, here we go. Alright, so we have rings for our warriors. It looks like, well, a couple of them. The big rings for, I think these are for the guardians, these big rings. What are these? Oh, these are camels. So that's just a way to, like, divide the map into other smaller regions for gameplay purposes. There's some tokens for each of the gods, some standees, and then each god has, and I do appreciate this too, so each god has, it's pretty good plastic, each god has a specific sculpt for their warriors in addition to the color, so you can see there how different those are, which is cool. It's better than just having, like, the color kind of themed, which I like. I appreciate that. You could probably paint these if you really wanted to. I don't know that I will, just because I've got so much other crap I probably really should be painting anyway, so that's the main reason. Alright, cool. That's the top layer. And then the second layer is, so this is the layer where we have the gods themselves. Now you can see, if you look at your god, which will be on the board, size wise compared to warriors, it is much, much larger. Similar plastic, although I will say, like, this is clearly not the same. But I think if I remember right, when they were talking about this, that, like, this like this staff, this flimsy piece, because there's so many of those. These are like, this is like a harder resin than this plastic. I think these are resin to give them more rigidity, and then the rest of it, the main stuff is the PVC plastic, I think, because it kind of looks to me like just looking at them, so you can't really tell from the picture here. It looks like a different color slightly, but I mean, in person you can definitely tell that there is a difference between those plastics. So you have each of the gods, and then you have different guardians. And you can see that there's two guardians, right, of the different types. So I think 2 or 3, depending on what kind it is, that can be out on the board. So that is all of the minis. That's actually that's the whole core box. Is that the whole core box? Wow. I think that's the whole core box. Kind of was thinking that there would be more to that. I mean, I'm not saying that there's not enough content. I'm just saying, in my mind, I thought there would be, more to it. Oh Lord, now I gotta get this back on right. I think it's probably like this. Oh, you know what I just realized? Number one, they didn't put like 5,000 things of tape on, which, if you know CMON, you know that's what they usually do. And of course here, it shows you where everything goes back in the box, so you can get them into the correct places. Although, is that even accurate? I think this is. So if you did have a question about that, there's your reference. So that is the core box. So let me get this packed up, and we will open the next box in Ankh. All right, next box. In again, no particular order. It was just the next biggest box, so that's the one that I did. This is for Ankh, called Tomb of Wonders. So let's take a look at the back and see what this adds. So 1 million more miniatures, because why not? A ton of tokens, and bases, merge god dashboards, devotion boards. Okay, looks like 2 more gods, more priests, a bunch of guardians. Cool. So not really anything new as far, it looks like, at least on the surface, as like new mechanics or anything. Just additional things from the core. And I think it may be this Tomb of Wonders may be it. I believe that the Tomb of Wonders is the stretch goal, essentially the stretch goal box for the game. So yeah, we got new gods, we got new guardians, and movement. Oh, cool. Petushikos. Yeah. So neat stuff, and of course, 1 million minis. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at this before we take a look at the rest. Okay. So, what do we got here? Okay, here we go. We got a cardboard devotion track. So this is a replacement for that sideboard that I talked about that was so crappy in the core game. This is a replacement for that. I'm liking that. And then we've got this other pack of stuff, which kind of looks like at least one of these is also a replacement situation. Let's see. hope so. Well, here's the thing though, right? If you have the need for a mat, does it really matter? Other than it is a backup. I will say that. I have a lot of neoprene mats and I don't necessarily always use them, but it's nice to know that I do have a backup in case something ever happened to the main board. So, you know, there are some advantages to having those. They do take up a lot of space, so that part is kind of annoying, if I'm being honest, because, you know, I've got enough stuff to store without worrying about it. So, what do we got here? Alright, so some more of the merged cards, tokens for the new gods. So here's the two new gods. Ptah, the creator, and Sobek, the crocodile god. And of course, their tokens, like I said, and their merge card. And then these are the two cardboard replacements for what's in the core box. Again, this I believe is the stretch goals box. I think. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it is. Alright, so what we got down here? So kind of more of the same. Oh, hello. More of the same stuff. We've got the god cards for the new gods. We've got guardians, additional guardians for what's in here, which we haven't looked at. I'm not going to open these, but you get the idea. That's more of what we've already seen. Now this I'm really interested in because I'm seeing some stuff here that I like way better than the cardboard tokens. Way better. Uh-oh, did I speak too soon? I was just talking about how CMON didn't have a ton of tape. Oh, maybe they still don't. Oh, nope, there it is. Here we go. Here we go. Well, it looks like it's only on two sides instead of all four, which is just super annoying, if I'm being honest. I try to be honest. Always be honest, kids. Oh, CMON. You had 3 out of 4. Oh no, 4 out of 4. Okay. They gave us one box to take our hopes away. Alright, so what do we got here? So obviously we have the bases for the new gods and some tokens for them. But I believe that all the rest of this, yeah. So in the base game there were some like land, we'll say tokens. But it looks like, I don't know if these are like storm tokens or something, but I remember seeing on one of those punch boards some cardboard for that. So that's what those are. These were markers that were colored cardboard. These would replace those. Although, to be perfectly honest with you, well, I would want to paint those to make them look like the other markers. Then there's 2 city tiles. Again, I'm not sure that I wouldn't use the city tiles. But these I would use because these are the monuments. And you'll notice here, I'll take this over here as an example, and I think this is true for all of these if I remember right. So one of the ways that you show control is So you have these monuments, and they have a place to put in your token to show that you are in control of that you own that. And in the base game, these are all cardboard. Although the base game, I think, comes with one of these for each color, which I always thought was kind of weird. But again, I think the Divine Offerings, I think, fixes that. The other cool stuff that this does is there's these areas for battle. So as you divide and subdivide the lands, now these aren't metal, they're plastic, but they look a whole lot cooler than the cardboard tokens. That's what those are. And then you've got the same thing for, let's see here. Oh yeah, so like the 1,000,000 follower tokens, you've got these, they're not metal, but they're a much nicer plastic. Hard plastic. And then here's some more tokens for, what is this? I really want to look at this because I did notice that all of the player boards had, what is this? Yeah. So I think like these 3 tokens, I think all these tokens, at least, well, sorry. These 3 tokens are for one of the gods. These tokens are for a god, and then these 2 red ones maybe are for a god. But I think they're for something else, because I think I saw this on more than one god's board. But I could be wrong. Nope, I am wrong. I think these are all the specific things for gods in the core set. So that's what this. I'm pretty sure that's what this is. Then, yeah, this is the stretch goal box. But you can see, so the monument, right, is like that, and then it's got the hole right there at the place. Then your obelisks down here, it's got a place for it, so it would sit right in front of it there. And then your pyramids, same thing, sits right there. So that is what that does. Okay, that's cool. Most of that stuff I'm okay with. Like I said, these I mean, they're neat, but the fact that they're just plain white, it would take some work on my part to get them where I would want them. So I have to ask myself, is it worth it? I mean, it may be. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that it's not necessarily worth it. I'm just saying I would have to think about whether it really is worth it or not. Alright, cool. Those, I think, go in there. Those go in there. And this stuff will sit on top. Alright. Let's push this sort out of the way. And we, of course, have another huge box. Another huge box of minis. So this is, again, they have on the back, they've got your how to put it back together. Very similar layout, it looks like, in this box to the core box. Yeah, so here we go. We've got more Guardians. So there's 3 of each. Let me just show you some of these up close. There's definitely, I mean, there's good detail on these. I would be afraid to paint them personally because I'm not that good, but I can see, again, that like hard plastic for the bendy parts. Because if you take, Zombicide is a good example. Sword and Sorcery, you can see Sword and Sorcery is another example. Those bendy parts tend to be that cheaper plastic, and they bend and they don't want to bend back, and you got hot water to move them back, and da 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 da. Not so with this. That's a cool sculpt. Like that. Neato. And then that warrior looks pretty cool. Alright, I'm digging it so far. Alright, here we go. Oh man. Holy jeez. Oh my god. I mean, look at the freaking detail on that, y'all. Holy smokes. Like, I would want to paint that, but I don't even know that I would know where to start. Holy cow. That's insane. Look at that. There's so much stuff all over that. Whew. What is this? Okay. I don't know what that is. And then of course we have our two new gods. There's the crocodile god. Lots and lots of detail. That is impressive, for sure. But again, and I keep saying this, but you cannot tell it when you're looking at it. These pieces, like these staves, are definitely made of a different plastic. And then of course you have all the, oh, that's hilarious. Hippo with a crocodile covering. That's awesome. It's like a monkey. We got this little squat dwarven warrior guy. That's what he looks like. Sure, he's not a dwarf. Some sort of bird. I don't know if that's a phoenix. Can't tell if this is flame or if this is wood. Having not looked through the cards. And then of course the scarab. Classic scarab. Cool. Wow. Now I have seen some pictures of some of this stuff painted and it is absolutely insane. But I'm pretty sure I'm not that talented, unfortunately. So, we'll see about that. That is all the content. That is all the content from the Tomb of Wonders. That is the second box of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let me get this one packed away and we will take a look at the next one. Alright, what do we got here next? We have the Guardian set. This mention introduces a new set of Guardians. Okay, so that's what this is. It's just basically new Guardians to play with. Cool. Always use more Guardians. So what do we have here? We've got Amit and Mafdit. Hey, Pazuzu, and Shimzu. Half of that's just saying their name. Look at that. That's all there is in this box. So much smaller compared to the others. Yeah, I gotta figure a storage solution for this, aren't I? Gosh, that's always a problem with CMOD. Oh, there we go. Look at that. That is definitely curved. I'll say that too. I found that almost all this plastic, it's definitely tight. I would almost say too tight because I think it's so tight that there is a little bit of bend in the cards, which wouldn't be a big deal if the card quality I think was a little bit thicker. But, I don't know long term. So there you go, yeah, there's all your Guardian cards. Levels, I think. Level 1, Level 2, Level 3. Yeah, Level 1, Level 2. Oh, well, those are all individual ones. Huh. Oh, I think you pick randomly like a Level 1, Level 2, Level 3 when you play. So you'd mix all these together with everything else and then draw it. The 3 that you're going to play with. And then, spend 20 minutes hunting them, depending on which box they happen to be in. Because that's the other part of Simon's games they don't tell you about. It's the game within the game. So here's these. So we've got kind of that Anubis dog. This not as much detail on that one as some of the other ones. We got a crocodile, hippo, bear. It's different. And then Shimzu, he looks pretty cool. Again, there is on some of these there's just a lot of detail. Like this one, not as much. Like on the back, on the front, he's got a pretty good bit. Not as good as the other sculpts, I will admit. Yeah, these sculpts they're okay, but I don't think they're as good as they could be. But yeah, so that's, I mean, that is literally all there is in this box. Just additional guardians. You can add this in, you can throw this in with all the rest of your stuff. But again, at least there is some art. You have to be a little bit creative with your interpretation of that. Because of the art style. But I've seen some really cool pictures of the stuff that they had painted by people that are far beyond my skill set, I'll tell you that. So that is, the Guardian set. 3 out of 6. We are halfway there. Next box, Pharaoh. What does Pharaoh add? We have each time a single individual shows as an intermediary. Oh, so I noticed there was a board, which I also received this. So this looks like it's going to be the cardboard version of the crappy paper one, or the one that comes like in the base game that we replaced. Hopefully we'll have replaced all this stuff. But also there's another expansion, which the last one we'll look at is called Pantheon. So you have to have the core game, and you can use this with Pantheon, which is pretty cool. But apparently it's another sideboard. Ruled by the gods themselves, when the War of the Gods began, each deity sought the Pharaoh's support, but his divinely inspired wisdom, the Pharaoh vowed to balance the needs of the gods with the political and social needs of mortal kind. So it's almost like another side mini-game, maybe? It adds a whole new layer. Priests exist to influence the different offices in the royal palace. 5 historical pharaohs you can choose, change the game in significant ways, adding new rules and objectives. Also adds sphinxes, which you can control. Ah, okay. Okay. This is where the sphinxes come in. I'm just going to say I know that there were sphinxes. The art's really good on this, I will admit. I think the art is really good. It's just hard to, yeah. So here's the sphinxes. And I'm assuming that something will give us the kind of the stretch goals where we had the excuse me, we had the plastic versions of the monuments and such. The rule book for the Pharaoh stuff, about 8 pages each. We have the golden Pharaoh, and then we have priests for all the different gods. We have their political cards. Death of a Pharaoh token, 4 Pharaoh tokens, yeah. So this is going to tell you how to integrate that. Merging gods, controlling monuments, political cards, Cool. Yeah, so that's definitely what this is. So this will be replaced, potentially, by this palace board if you purchased that palace board. So that's cool. So here's all the priests. You have the cards. Where's this going to be? Of course. More plastic. Not more plastic, sorry. More tape. Because there's never enough tape in the world. So, ironically, Simon is all about the tape for the safety of its minis. But in the original Zombicide, when you fired into a room, you had to hit your own people. Now, I mean, I'm gonna be honest, I'm a little bit confused about how those two things line up together. Doesn't make sense to me. Okay, here we go. Now these things, okay, I'm noticing this. There's these numbers on these 23, 23, 23, 20, or 6, 6, 6, 29, 8, 8, 8. I don't know what those numbers mean. If you can see that. See how it's got like 2s, 23, 6, da, da, da. That's not, that's plastic. Gosh, if that was metal, that would be cool. But there's the priest, one for each color. Interesting. I don't think I quite understand that. Unless there's like, that's their numbering system. And that was part of, well, maybe when they created everything, maybe that's what it is. It's just split out amongst all the boxes. So here's a bunch of cards. Let's see what we got here. All those cards are the same, looks like. So these are the political cards. Sow the fields to the caravan. Rapture. Convert the weak. Justice the might. Harmony of the feet. Obelisk affinity. Their faith wavers. Walk through the worlds. Move your god any number of spaces. Oh, wow. Kill an enemy warrior in your god's region. You may summon a guardian. Wow. Okay. That's cool. That just sounds fun. I mean, who doesn't want to summon a guardian? Of course not. Let's see here. So, the next question then is, who are the pharaohs? It's a great question. I'm glad you asked that question because I just so happen to have them here in my hand. So we've got Amenhotep, Menhotep, Ramses, Xerxes, Akhenaten, and Tutankhamun. And then here's, of course, some player aids. So, Beloved, winning each monument majority in Amenhotep region. So these are the place Pharaoh, the last player places Amenhotep adjacent to one of the monuments. I guess that's set up. Okay, yes, they all have the different places. So cool. So it's going to tell you what powers you have during the game, what benefit I guess you get, depending on who's in power maybe? I don't know. Don't know a lot about that particular expansion. But I will say this, like all of the, like this track, all the devotion, all these extra pieces. Actually, you know what? I think I'm actually, while I'm in here, I think I'm gonna put the cardboard in here. I'll probably just go ahead and do a little punch out just to give me a little room. There we go. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, the neoprene mat has all of these boards already built into it, so it's a pretty big map, and it's two-sided, and there's not a difference between the sides. So they, you know, I guess if something happened on one side and you got it dirty or something like that, or you know, spilled something, if it went through on one side, maybe it wouldn't go through to the other. So you have, in addition, of course, obviously to your, ooh, that's not good. Look at that. You know, it's really hard to see. I'm trying to pull that out of the bag because, of course, the bag is like just big enough. You know, look at that. Yeah, you can really see that. See how it's splayed out. So it's better than the paper version, but you know, neoprene. The neoprene, you don't have to worry about that sort of stuff. I don't have to worry about the cardboard coming apart. And I will admit, while the plastic tokens don't necessarily look as quote-quote good in some ways, you know, the advantage to them is they're not going to peel like cardboard either. So I would say over time, in the grand scheme of things, they probably are a little bit better for in terms of longevity and having a good copy for longer of the game. So I guess there is something to say for that, if I'm going to be fair about it. The fun part, like I said, is still going to be the puzzle of integrating all this stuff into as few boxes as possible, because there's so many minis. Zombie size is pretty easy because it's pretty small. This, not so much. This is not what one might call small. This is, in fact, what one would call quite large. Okay. Next box. Pantheon. So, what do we have here? Is this more gods? Yeah, 5 new gods. Yeah, 5 new gods. That's what the Pantheon is. Gosh, there's so many colors here. Of course, you have to have the base game for this, but there's so many colors. I think that's probably going to be, I don't want to say a problem, but it's going to be tricky because there's some colors that are close, and I have a very good friend of mine that is colorblind, and I have to, you know, when we play some games we don't play, some games he struggles because of the color choices that were made. So, alright, who do we have? We have Bastet, Hathor, Horus, Toth, and Set. So, not really anything surprising here. More cardboard colors. See, I think these colors are going to be like awful close to some of the other ones. The at this point infamous crappy player boards, the infamously crappy merge cards, standard decks. I'm not going to open these up. We've seen these. Rings for Guardians and I guess that is rings for Guardians. Yeah, and then of course more tape. Because there's just not enough tape. Like, I'm okay with them putting tape on it, but like, tape 2 sides, don't tape all 4 sides. It just makes this part. Oh no, wait, where did that come from? Okay, hold on a second. So, when I open that, this fell out. I bet. But this is supposed to go on him somewhere. Okay. Alright, well, we got him out. Let's take a quick look. Okay. And oh, look at that. That's pretty cool. And then dun, dun, dun. Look at that detail, man. He's insane. Insane in the membrane. There we go. Insane. Okay, so that is the Pantheon. So just 5 more gods, essentially. I mean, I kind of make light of that, sort of, but it is cool. And then we'll go to the last box, Divine Offerings. And at last, we come to the end. What is the smallest and almost, but not quite, the heaviest box we have. So what is Divine Offerings? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So basically, we have cardboard god dashboards, cardboard merged god dashboards, and Ankh tokens. So essentially it's taking, again, this is a quality of life upgrade. So all those tokens that they had for the individual gods, each of their colors, here's the plastic versions of that. But look, you can see, like, look at that. Like, there's 3 different browns in there. I mean, yeah, you can tell a difference, but man, it's not a huge difference. Pull this off. Okay. Alright. Okay, yeah, so these are much thicker cardboard cards, and this does have, let's see, sets. So big. Let's see. Just looking through here to see. Yeah. So this set should have everybody, all 12 gods from everything. Huh. What the? Oh, these were done towards some of these were done. Look at this. Alright, so let's take what looks to be the worst offender. So look at the tops there. See how off-cut those are? I didn't cut off any of the important stuff, but the tops and bottoms are definitely not even. So let's see what happens when I do this. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Look at that. Maybe that's kind of hard to see. But those are clearly cut off, not straight. But they work. And then here's all of the... Is this all 12 gods? Yeah. So here's all the gods. And their boards. And then it looks like these are... I think you just pop those out. Looks like. Yeah. Punch out pretty easy. So there you go. That is Divine Offerings, and that is everything for Ankh Gods of Egypt by Simon Games. Like I said, it is a 2 to 5 player. I don't know that there's a single player, which I usually don't buy anything that's not single player, but I made an exception for this mostly because of the theme. I don't really have anything Egyptian. So, yep, there we are. That is the unboxing. Whew. That's a long unboxing. That's a lot of stuff, y'all, for real. And now I gotta go back and punch most of it. Oh, man. Anywho, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for subscribing to the channel, hanging out with us while we do these things. Check us out on Tuesday nights for our live streams if you're not doing that, or at least Tuesday nights as of the time of this filming. Play different things. It's not always the newest thing. It's just stuff that we like, that we enjoy. We want you guys to jump in there, get in the chat with us. If we get enough people on that are interested, we'll use something like StreamYard where we can get you in there and get you online and get you hooked up with us and talk to you live and in person. If there's a game you want to see, let us know about that. If there's a game that you want us to play, if there's a game that you have that we have, we'll set something up. We'll do a stream, or even if it's not a stream, we'll just do like a private a game with you just to play, because that's our goal, right? We're just trying to get connected with you guys, get you guys connected with other people, have fun, share our love for our hobby that we have. And on that note, Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for subscribing. Again, I'm Justin from the Board Game Losers, and I will see you, my friends, in the next video. Bye, guys.